In this lesson presentation, we'll focus on using text structure to determine the author's purpose. The first text structure we'll talk about is description. With description, the author describes a topic by listing characteristics, features, attributes, and examples. Now, obviously, a description structure would likely be the author's purpose to describe. Here are some words you can look for. For example, characteristics, for instance, such as, is like, including, and to illustrate. If you see these keywords, you're likely reading an essay that has the text structure of description. Next is sequence. The author lists items or events in numerical or chronological sequence, either explicit or implied. Look for these keywords: first, second, third, later, next, before, or since. If you see these words, you may be reading a text structure of sequence. This will often be used for the author's purpose of entertaining. For example, if the author is giving you a narrative, it would use this particular sequence structure. Next is comparison contrast. Information is presented by detailing how two or more events, concepts, theories, or things are alike or different. Some words you may see are however, nevertheless, but, similarly, although, also, and in contrast. Comparison and contrast can be used for a variety of different purposes. It could be used as an informative purpose. For example, if an author is trying to inform you on similarities and differences between two different types of cars. But it also could be used for a persuasive purpose. For example, if that same author were trying to convince you to buy one car rather than another, this comparison and contrast would be used for persuasion. Next is cause and effect. The author presents ideas, events in time, or facts as causes and the resulting effect or facts that happen as a result of the event. It's important to note that sometimes in this structure, the author will present the effect first and then detail the causes. Here are some keywords to look for: if then, reasons why, as a result, therefore, because, and consequently. If you see these words, it's likely a cause and effect structure. Cause and effect can again be used for informative or persuasive texts. Problem solution. The author presents a problem and one or more solutions to the problem. The keywords: the problem is, the dilemma is, if then, because, so that, question and answer, or the puzzle is solved. A problem solution is likely to be used in a persuasive essay. For example, an author will present a problem and then try to persuade you that their solution is the best solution. Next is order of importance. Information is expressed as a hierarchy or in a priority. Some keywords: most importantly, first, next, and finally. The order of importance organizational pattern can be difficult to identify alongside cause and effect or the sequence text structures. The difference is subtle, and it may be inferred at times, but generally, a sequential passage explains the steps that occur in a process, whereas the order of importance lists which events are most important. For example, the difference might be your parent describing to you the steps that occur to clean your room, or your parent describing you which things are most important to get cleaned in your room. Let's look at our example. You were to read the article, "Ever Wonder Who Invented the Pizza?" prior to viewing this presentation. If you did, you should have noticed that this article was presented in chronological or sequence format. The author took the time to talk first about how pizza was invented by Italians, then how pizza was sold originally as a cheap meal for the poor. Then he talked about how pizza arrived in the United States, and then he talked about how pizza came to be a deep dish variety of pizza, which really is considered the American pizza. The author intends to inform you how pizza went from the original invention in Italy to what pizza is now in the United States. Here's another example. Pause the video and take a minute to read this essay. Now that you've read the essay, answer the question, which type of structure is this? Well, it's a comparison-contrast structure. We can tell because the writer says, comparing the former experience with my current situation. So obviously, the author is talking about being in small class sizes versus regular class sizes. It's a comparison-contrast. Those are our key words. But you'll notice that we also have keywords like although. We also will get advantages and disadvantages. And all of these give us the clue that this is a comparison-contrast structure. So, a comparison-contrast structure is likely to be informative or persuasive. Which is this? Obviously, it's persuasive. The student is making the argument that the greatest problem facing our public school is large class sizes. Good job.